Welcome to the Daily Devo. My name is Diana. Today we are talking being surrounded by fire. Have you ever heard of electric bicycles? You know, the bikes that have that little motor connected to it that help it move. So rather than pedaling, your effort of pedaling being the only thing impacting the movement of the bike, on an electric bike, it has this little motor helping you along. It's pretty cool. Well, a man named Gideon in the Bible was preparing to lead his army to face these people called the Midianites in battle. Well, Gideon, he gathered all of his men, yet God came to him and told him, he said, hey, you've got too many men for this battle. Here's the deal. He said, if you go into battle with all of those men, people are going to think that they won the battle in their own strength. They wouldn't realize that God was actually helping them, and he was the one bringing it about. It's kind of like an electric bike. They would have thought that it was just their pedaling effort moving things along, not realizing that they have a motor like God making things happen and making a big impact. So with the number of army men reduced to 300, God is going to say something in Judges chapter 7, verse 7. Listen to this. He says, the Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let all the other men go, each to his own place. So the uniqueness of God's plan of reducing this big army down to 300, it didn't stop there. After reducing the number down, which doesn't seem like the most strategic decision, here's what's going to happen is the men are given strange, odd tools to take into battle with. Listen to it in verse 16. It says this. It says, dividing up the 300 men into 3 companies, Gideon placed trumpets and empty jars in the hands of them with torches inside. Torches, jars, and trumpets with just 300 men? What an odd choice, don't you think? Here's the truth. God does not always move in the ways that we would. It's often different, but yet it's still of divine origin. That's a fancy way to say it's often different, but it still comes from God. So the story is going to go on in Judges 7, 20 and 21, and what's going to happen is these companies of 300 are going to start to blow their trumpets and smash their jar, and they're going to have their torches in their hands, holding them high. And what happens is God's people win. They win the battle. So what are you facing today? Are you walking through a challenging family situation? Are you navigating difficult demands? Are your expectations different than reality? If you look at your season of life, are you wondering if you're limited by what's real in your life? Are you wondering if maybe your personality, your features, your tendency, your job, your family, are you wondering if it's right? Well, let's look at the story of Gideon, the reduced army who were armed with jars, torches, and trumpets. Here's the truth. God was absolutely able to move and to work his plan through unlikely circumstances that you and I would not have chosen on our own. In fact, the goodness of God, the power of God, the help of God were much more evident because of those unique circumstances. So today, what if instead of focusing on what you don't have, or focusing on how unusual the circumstances are, or focusing on how much you wish the circumstances could change, what if you instead look to God in the midst of them? What if you ask God to say, God, show me how all of these random, difficult factors might not actually be restrictions or limitations, but maybe, just maybe, they might be the very thing that will help God's goodness, his power, and his help most clearly be put on display. You see, the torches and jars and limited soldiers, they sure may have been unusual, yet God in his wisdom knew it was just what was needed for God's plan to move forward. We can trust God today.